She thought no one was watching, but every stolen package carried more than just stolen goods. It carried arrogance, entitlement, and a belief that she could get away with anything. For weeks, a Black homeowner noticed his deliveries vanish, one after another. Neighbors whispered, but no one dared to act, until he decided enough was enough. What he did next would turn the tables in a way no one expected and leave the entire HOA stunned. Was this karma or something even bigger? Marcus was the kind of neighbor everyone knew but few truly noticed. A hardworking man in his mid-30s. He had bought his modest home after years of saving, determined to create a quiet, safe space for himself. His front porch was his pride, a small welcome mat, a sturdy mailbox, and the satisfaction of seeing his name on the deed. For Marcus, it wasn't just a house. It was proof of perseverance in a world that often stacked the odds against him. Each day followed a steady rhythm. Early mornings at work, evenings spent tending to his small garden, and weekends catching up with family. Packages from online. Orders were his little luxuries, books, tools, and supplies that kept his life running smoothly. They arrived often, but just as often, they began to vanish. At first, Marcus blamed the delivery service. Maybe it was a mistake, a lost shipment, a delayed drop-off. But deep down, something gnawed at him. Neighbors mentioned whispers of a woman, someone in the HOA known for causing trouble, someone who always had an excuse. Marcus brushed it off, hoping it was just rumor. But with each missing package, the unease grew heavier. And when his patience finally wore thin, Marcus decided to watch more closely. What he discovered would set the stage for a confrontation no one in the neighborhood would forget. The first time Marcus saw her, it was almost by accident. He had installed a small camera near his porch light, hoping to catch the thief in action. The grainy footage played back late one evening, and there she was, a woman in her late 50s, neatly dressed, walking with the casual confidence of someone who believed the rules never applied to her. She didn't sneak or rush. She simply walked up to Marcus's porch, looked around once, and tucked his package under her arm like it belonged to her. It wasn't just theft, it was entitlement. And it wasn't just any woman. It was Patricia, better known as Karen, among frustrated neighbors, a long-standing member of the HOA board. She had a history of complaints, fines, and lectures about keeping the neighborhood standards. She was the kind of person who scrutinized lawns with a ruler, but here she was, stealing from the very man she often judged for being different in the neighborhood. Marcus felt his chest tighten as he replayed the video. This wasn't a delivery mix-up. This was targeted. Each missing package, each vanished box, had her fingerprints written all over it. And the worst part? She carried herself with the smugness of someone who thought no one would dare confront her, especially not him. But Marcus wasn't alone in noticing. Whispers spread quietly. Neighbors mentioned seeing Patricia with items they knew she hadn't purchased. Some even admitted they'd lost packages too, but never said a word, afraid of retaliation from the HOA. Her influence was strong, her reach intimidating. Marcus's patience wore thin. He decided to act, setting his plan in motion. He ordered something ordinary, a plain cardboard box, nothing to draw suspicion. But what lay inside wasn't ordinary at all. With careful hands and steady determination, he prepared a package Patricia would never forget. The next day, he left it in plain sight. He didn't have to wait long. The camera caught her again, Patricia walking briskly, her eyes darting, her hands reaching for what wasn't hers. She snatched the package and hurried away, not knowing what was inside. Marcus's phone buzzed with a notification from his camera system, confirming what he already knew. She had taken the bait. And as he sat back, a mix of anger and anticipation surged through him, because what Patricia carried away this time wasn't just another stolen item. It was a ticking reminder that her arrogance had gone too far. What happened next would ripple through the entire neighborhood and finally expose the truth she had worked so hard to hide. The moment Patricia opened the box, the neighborhood heard it. A shriek tore through the quiet street, sharp and frantic, followed by the unmistakable chaos of something wild unleashed. Neighbors peered from windows as Patricia stumbled out onto her porch, flailing and gasping, the package tumbling from her hands. From inside came the furious rustle and hiss of the gift. Marcus had prepared a harmless but unforgettable skunk that bolted past her feet and into the yard. Her scream wasn't just about the animal. It was about exposure. For the first time, Patricia had no control, no excuse, no carefully crafted lie. The camera footage circulated almost instantly. Neighbors who had remained silent finally spoke up, sharing their own stories of stolen packages, unfair fines, and whispered slurs. But Patricia didn't go quietly. She stormed to the HOA board, raging that Marcus had endangered her, trying to flip the story against him. Her words dripped with the same entitlement she had always wielded, a belief that rules bent for her and consequences never applied. Marcus, however, wasn't alone anymore. The community had seen too much. They rallied behind him, refusing to let her rewrite the truth. Screens lit up with video proof. Voices rose in unity, louder than her protests thought in that moment. The balance shifted. Patricia had tried to paint Marcus as the villain, but instead, her mask cracked wide open. The neighborhood watched, no longer, blind to the pattern they had ignored for too long. And as Patricia realized the tide had turned, her once confident glare faltered. For the first time, she wasn't in control. For the first time, she stood exposed not just as a thief, but as a symbol of something much deeper and uglier. When the dust settled, Patricia's power crumbled. The HOA board had no choice but to confront the evidence, and the very neighbors she once intimidated stood united against her. She lost her position, her influence, and the blind protection she had hidden behind for years. For Marcus, it wasn't just about winning against one woman. It was about reclaiming his dignity, his peace, and his right to exist in his own neighborhood without being targeted. But even with justice served, the deeper scars remained. Why had it taken a humiliating spectacle for people to finally speak up? Why did it take proof, video evidence, and collective outrage before his voice was believed? Marcus had lived through what so many Black homeowners know too well, the exhausting burden of having to prove that their pain is real, that their experiences are not imagined. The story may have ended with Patricia's downfall, but the truth is bigger than one HOA, one neighbor, or one stolen package. It shines a harsh light on how racism often hides in plain sight, cloaked in rules, positions of authority, and false smiles. And it forces us to ask, how many more Patricias exist unchecked because people look the other way? Marcus says, Stand wasn't just about protecting his porch, it was about drawing a line, about showing that silence allows injustice to grow. His courage sparked change in his community, but the fight is far from over. So ask yourself, when the next injustice happens on your street, will you stay silent or will you stand up? Because real change doesn't start with viral moments. It starts with neighbors, with voices, with us.